Hello everyone, and welcome to my video on the top 10 Zelda games. In this game, I will discuss the top 10 Zelda games. Anyways, this list is open to change as I will play the Zeldas over and over and over again. And with different titles I play each time, my opinion changes a little bit based on how I view every other game in the series. This list will be based off mostly what I've played recently and the aspects of those games that I really enjoyed. And finally, before I start, I would like to give a mention to Peanut Butter Gamer, who came up with the original top 10 Zelda games video I watched in 2011, and I also enjoyed the video he made criticizing the list later on. So I will take I'll take everything I know about Zelda, and I will explain to you guys why this is the top 10 Zelda games in my opinion. And without further ado, these are the top 10 Zelda games. Starting off at number 10, we have Minish Cap. This game starts off with a story of the Picori who helped seal the evil spirits using the Picori Blade. Link is childhood friends with Zelda in this game, and they are going to the Picori Festival together. The final ceremony, Vati turns Zelda into stone, seeking to find the life force. Link must collect all 4 elemental stones to turn the broken Picori Blade into the 4 sword and seal Vati away. Minish Cap, while being a pretty basic game, does a few things that I really like. Kinstone fusing is a unique mechanic that allows you to fuse, well, a Kinstone with another character in the game and unlock something like a chest or a heart piece. Another unique mechanic to the Minish Cap is interacting with the world in a much smaller way but becoming the size of a Minish or Picori. The 8 Tiger Scrolls unlocking new sword abilities was a great way of unlocking new attack styles such as the Great Spin Attack. Minish Cap's OST also works really well with the game. Some of my favorite tracks of the game are the Minish Village and the Melcronel themes. The end of the game is great as well. The moments leading into the final battle are amazing and very climactic. You can actually be too slow to stop Vati and end up not being able to save the world. Minish Cap is a great place to start if you are a new Zelda player, as the game is not too hard, but it also has some of the core elements that make a lot of Zelda games great. Next game on my list is going to disappoint a lot of Zelda fans out there, but next up is Twilight Princess. This game doesn't quite do it for me, quite as much as other Zelda games do. Twilight Princess starts off with Link living a ranch lifestyle in Ordon Village, preparing to deliver some gear to Hyrule Castle on his horse Epona. Before he leaves, he was kidnapped by the creatures of Twilight and taken prisoner. Once he enters the Twilight, he becomes a wolf and meets Midna, who sets him free and forces him to help collect the Forged Shadows. Twilight Princess felt really easy to me at a lot of points, and a lot of the side quests just weren't that much fun or very interesting to me. The game's art style just didn't captivate me very much, but I think it looked very good for the whole realistic thing it was going for. It just wasn't for me. Despite these complaints, I believe Twilight Princess has some strong suits. I enjoy just playing the game, and some of the mechanics and fight styles are really fun to work with. The characters and story of Twilight Princess are more interesting and unique compared to other Zelda games. Link's hometown in Ordon Village gives him a bit of a backstory and a good sense of self. He fights for these people, giving him a good reason to fight. Midna is another great character, starting off as selfish and becoming a better person, or Twilight person, I guess? The theme that plays while saving her is phenomenal. The theme has quite a lot of emotion to it, showing Midna as a character, but it also gives you a new side of Midna that you weren't quite seeing before, but now she's on her deathbed, waiting for you to save her. Zant is an awesome villain. He's very vile and evil while keeping a very intimidating and eerie vibe. His arc as a villain is unfortunately downplayed when you learn he's being controlled by Ganondorf. Twilight Princess has a great OST with some good tracks such as the boss fight themes, Midna's Lament, and Hyrule Field. Although Twilight Princess is not my favorite Zelda game, I still think it's a good game and it has a lot of things going for it. Breath of the Wild. Quite literally a breath of fresh air for the series. Breath of the Wild is the first open-world Zelda game since the original Legend of Zelda. After you complete the Great Plateau, you unlock the entire world, giving you the ability to complete the game as soon as you leave, or you can do other things first. Most of the things in Breath of the Wild speaks for itself. The Divine Beasts aren't crazy fun and creative dungeons, however the 120 shrines and extra ones you get in the DLC make up for this with many different and creative puzzles. I enjoy exploring the world and doing some of the less progressive activities like shield surfing. The game lets you play how you want for combat, the story, progression, and so on. Exploring this huge world changed the Zelda experience entirely. There is always something new to find. The OST works well for the world, maybe with less crazy exciting hits like other games, but it does create an excellent atmosphere. My big problem with this game is the bad boss fights, where the Ganon fights were fun and were quite easy. Master Koga, leader of the Yiga clan, is a cool fight, but very underwhelming for his title. Dark Beast Ganon is underwhelming and feels too much like an interactive cutscene. You can get past these fights, however, and enjoy the game for its differences. Small note is that I haven't done a full playthrough of Tears in the Kingdom, and from what I've seen and heard, it fixes a lot of problems with this game and adds a new layer of fun and originality. Coming in at number 7 is Phantom Hourglass, and you may be thinking, but this game sucks. And yeah, maybe a little bit. But this game has a lot of potential in its ideas. The game starts off right where Wind Waker left off. Link and Tetra, aka Princess Zelda, are sailing looking for new land. Tetra gets captured by the ghost ship, and in an attempt to save her, Link gets sent to the world of the Ocean King, starting his big adventure. The gameplay in Phantom Hourglass is very creative as it uses the touchscreen for movement because it was made between 2006 and 2012. This allows for more precise movements, however, while also being original. The use of the touchscreen allows for different ways of handling items like the boomerang, where you get to draw the path of where the boomerang will go instead of just throwing it and hoping that your aim is good. This also applies to items like the magic hammer, where you can hit anywhere on the screen, or the bow, so you can hit a very precise angle with it. Although the dungeon design is a little bit weak, the Temple of the Ocean King can be quite tedious. Every time you come back, you complete it a different way using one of the items you've obtained in the last dungeon. You can also take on getting the final seed chart before getting some later items such as the grappling hook, which is harder, but it's not impossible. The world is a little bit less fun to explore than in the Wind Waker because you don't have free control over your ship. You draw out the path you want your ship to go. Despite this limitation, there's still fun things to do while you're out on the Great Sea, such as shoot the flying squids for rupees. Later on in the game, you also unlock fishing and the ability to salvage items from the bottom of the ocean. Some of these treasures can be either ship parts or the Sand of Hours to add more time to the Phantom Hourglass. The ship parts in particular give you a lot more customization of your ship throughout the game compared to the Wind Waker. You had the same boat the whole time. The customization also gives you a little bit more health for your ship, which can be very helpful later on when you fight Bellum and the ghost ship. My big problem with Phantom Hourglass is that the OST is bland, with every dungeon having the same theme, every island having the same theme, every town having the same theme, and so on. However, there are some unique good tracks, like the Great Sea, Bellum, and Lineback's theme. The characters in Phantom Hourglass are super fun. Lineback and Ciela bounce off each other for some pretty funny moments. Lineback sees a lot of character growth in the second half of the game. This is seen when Lineback stands up to Bellum with the Phantom Sword. Phantom Hourglass faces a big problem with repetition. However, the repetition doesn't kill the enjoyment of other parts of the game, which are really strong. Again, while Phantom Hourglass has a lot of problems, I still think it provides a fun and unique Zelda experience. At number 6, we have Ocarina of Time. The game starts with Link being summoned to the Great Deku Tree, and before dying, he sends Link to meet up with Princess Zelda and help save Hyrule. For the first 3D Zelda game, and a game made in 1998, Ocarina of Time has some extremely strong aspects that carry through a lot of Zelda games today. The Z-Lock target system improved combat drastically, making combat simple and fun. The story is good and has some fun and impactful moments. I enjoyed playing the Ocarina to make things happen in the game, like move time blocks, and how it tied into the story. The dungeons are excellent, and the puzzles feel rewarding to solve, always rewarding you with something like a gold sculpture token or a key. The soundtrack and the production is also very good. All around, this game is good, so it's hard to really pick a spot to talk about. The games are good, really good, but the bads are really bad. Side quests are almost non-existent in this game, with really the only big one being the Bagoron Sword quest. The gold sculptures get really repetitive, and it's not even necessary to get all of them to get the final reward. Another huge issue is the Water Temple. While it is a creative dungeon, having to equip and unequip the iron boots over and over again is really frustrating. While it is remedied in the 3DS remake, it still is very frustrating. The 3DS remake helped fix the problems that made Ocarina of Time frustrating, as well as giving it a nice new graphical look. Ocarina of Time was a staple of my childhood, being one of the first Zelda games I've ever played. It was a great experience, and even today I'm trying to experience it through other ways, such as randomizers and speedruns. A Link Between Worlds was released as a spiritual successor to A Link to the Past in 2013. The game starts with Link having a dream about a great evil. He then wakes up and goes to pick up the swords for the delivery to Hyrule Castle. He then gets disrupted and must save one of the 7 sages, but he is too late. Zelda gives him the Pendant of Courage and tasks him with finding the other 2 pendants and getting the Master Sword. This game revolves around the wall merging mechanic, which is used for many of the game's puzzles, but it's used very elegantly and never seems to be unfun and out of place to use. There are no dungeon items in this game. All of your items are rented, then bought from Ravio, which at first I didn't like the mechanic very much, but then you realize how worthwhile it is to get these items to aid in your quest. One of the main collectibles in the game are 100 Mai, which let you upgrade the items you bought from Ravio. Although the Mai sound similar to the gold Skulltula tokens, your final reward is the Great Spin Attack, which is very helpful. The Mai are divided between the overworld sectors, and the map tells you how many you have left from each, which makes finding them significantly easier. This makes collecting them, again, not only easier, but more fun and interesting. Piece of Hearts are spread out throughout the world, in a similar fashion but not the same way, making them more fun to find than the average Piece of Heart in other Zelda titles. The 10 dungeons in this game aren't significantly hard, but they do reward you for extra exploration by rewarding you with defense upgrades, strength upgrades, the stamina upgrade, and Master Ore to upgrade the Master Sword. The game expands upon A Link to the Past, which makes the game feel very smooth and still fresh. Tracks were redone to sound more up to date, and the movements adjust to the circle pad rather than a D-pad. Although A Link Between Worlds is a spiritual successor to A Link to the Past, it still carries its own identity and its own game.
Arrgh! Ahoy, swabbies! We sail for smoother seas!
With that out of the way, Wind Waker originally released in 2002. Wind Waker is the first Zelda game to create a completely new style to overworld compared to your typical Hyrule. The game starts with a story that is the retold version of the events of Ocarina of Time. Link, the new hero, lives on peaceful Outset Island with his sister and grandmother. He wakes up on his birthday and he is now of age to carry out the tradition of wearing the same clothes as the hero once did. After this, his sister gets kidnapped and Link heads to the Forsaken Fortress with Tetra and her pirates who were at fault for the kidnapping. Link makes it up to where his sister is being held, but is thrown away to sea by the Helmarok King. He is then saved by the King of Red Lions, aka the King of Hyrule, who sets Link on the path to become the Hero of Winds. Wind Waker is the first 3D Zelda to have a free camera and makes good use of this in the overworld. The Great Sea, although at some points a little barren, is aesthetically amazing. Each sector has something to explore, whether it be a reef, cave, or some kind of puzzle on the island. Each one has a treasure for you to discover. Although there isn't a whole lot of interesting collectibles outside of Piece of Hearts, every secret is a blast to discover. Wind Waker doesn't have many side quests, but each side quest you do is fun and goes into a character's story a little bit. Lenzo's Pictograph side quest is a great one, as you learn a lot of the seemingly insignificant people of Windfall. Zunari's Trading Quest is another big side quest where you explore the Great Sea looking for merchants to trade with, and at the end of the side quest you get the Magic Armor, which runs off rupees, and doesn't even deplete the rupees unless you get hit. Wind Waker has a one-of-a-kind story. Link starts as nobody and decides to become the hero, not at first to save his sister, but he decides to go above and beyond. We see Tetra, at first selfish, gets told about her true identity as the descendant of the Hyrule Princess and becomes a little more selfless. Ganondorf also improves as a character, where he's shown to have a real intention wanting Hyrule besides just destruction, where he even holds back on multiple occasions and doesn't kill Link or Zelda. The game also has an amazing OST with every theme fitting the world amazingly. Wind Waker was unfortunately an uncompleted game because of time constraints, but it still holds up as one of the best Zelda titles, especially following the quality of life changes added in the HD remake. Spirit Tracks was one of the games I wanted for years. I remember I kept asking my mom to buy me the game for months, and then Phantom Hourglass released on Wii U Virtual Console, and I realized the inevitability that this game was coming next. Finally, Spirit Tracks was released on Wii U Virtual Console, and I got it as fast as I could. It was like a dream come true, and I started playing it every day after school, and oh boy, do I have a lot to say about this game. During the creation of this video, Spirit Tracks actually went up 2 places due to me having very fond memories of the game and emotions with it. Spirit Tracks starts off with the same Nico from the Wind Waker and Phantom Hourglass, telling the new Link the story of the battle between the spirits and the evil king Malladus. Malladus is imprisoned in the Tower of Spirits and the Spirit Tracks. Link is summoned to Hyrule Castle to get his engineering certificate and meets with Princess Zelda, who asks him for help to discover why the Spirit Tracks are disappearing. On their way to the Tower of Spirits, the Spirit Tracks disappeared beneath them and they get ambushed by Chancellor Cole and Burn. Zelda is separated from her body and follows Link around in spirit form. This game makes up for a lot of Phantom Hourglass's shortcomings. The OST is more dynamic and the touch controls are reused and improved upon. The treasures in this game that you find are a lot more useful. You can use these treasures not only to sell for rupees, but to create train cars. Unlike Phantom Hourglass where you could find all your boat parts, in this game you must create all your train parts. As I mentioned earlier, Zelda is a spirit in this game. As a spirit, she possesses the phantoms in the Tower of Spirits to help you solve puzzles with the different phantoms you may find. She even helps you in the final battle by being your shield, and after getting her body back, she helps you deliver the final blow with the Locomo Sword. The characters in this game are excellent, bringing back old species like the Gorons and the Anukis from Phantom Hourglass. A few characters are direct descendants from the pirate crew from The Wind Waker and Lineback's descendant Lineback III. Although descendants, these characters are their own. Zelda in particular is one of the best Zeldas in the franchise, from being scared of doing anything into helping Link restore the Spirit Tracks and defeat Malladus. She grows a lot as a character. Something noteworthy is that Link and Zelda are very close in this game. Link goes from being a simple engineer to being the person that Zelda trusts the most, and it really shows chemistry between the two of them. The dungeons in this game are a slight improvement to Phantom Hourglass. The Tower of Spirits is a lot less repetitive than the Temple of the Ocean King. Spirit Tracks has a few unique items, such as the Whirlwind, Sand Wand, and Whip. The soundtrack in this game is one of my favorites in the entire Zelda series, with every track fitting each area extremely well, while also being mostly unique. The collectibles in this game are sweet and simple, with the stamp stations unlocking your customization items like the conductor's uniform and the shield from Phantom Hourglass, as well as the hurricane spin. The bunnies unlock a few collectibles, but most notably the sword beam. The big problem in Spirit Tracks comes from the Realm Overworld movement. Although the music is amazing, riding the train gets tedious pretty fast. Sure, the occasional enemy appears here and there along with the bunnies, but it's not anything too interesting after a while. There's a lot more I could say about Spirit Tracks, but this is dragging on a bit. I might delve into it in another video, but this will suffice for now. I have many memories of Majora's Mask. This was one of the games my dad had on his Wii when I started living with him when I was 5. My step-siblings had played up until about after the first dungeon. This game was a little scary when I was younger, but after a couple years, I got it on my own Wii and started to play it a bit more, and eventually I would complete my first ever playthrough of the game. A few years later, the 3DS remaster came out. It added many quality of life changes and some questionable boss reworks. I spent many hours playing this game, getting every single mask and eventually every single piece of heart. Majora's Mask starts with Link getting his ocarina and horse stolen. Skull Kid, under the influence of Majora's Mask, transforms Link into a Deku Scrub. He makes his way into Termina and discovers he has only 3 days to stop the Skull Kid before the world ends. After getting back the Ocarina of Time, he remembers the Song of Time and goes back in time. The Happy Mask salesman then helps Link return to his Hylian form and sends him to retrieve the 4 remaining masks to free the 4 giants. Majora's Mask has some of the best side quests in any Zelda title. Each side quest will nab you either a piece of heart or a mask that will help you get a piece of heart. If you collect all the masks, at the end of the game, you will be given the Fierce Deities mask by the final Moonchild. Although the mask is not helpful outside the final battle, it's still super cool and super useful for the final battle. All the masks give you different abilities, which can greatly change the way you complete the game, such as the bunny hood or the different gameplay styles of the transformation masks. Some of the side quests I personally enjoy are the Skulltula houses, the Dongero side quest, and the Romani Mask side quest. Each of these have you do something a little more unique in the game, being told some kind of story and helping bring relief to these groups. Another popular side quest is the Cafe quest, easily the longest side quest in the game. It has you explore the life of someone cursed by the Skull Kid. You then reunite Cafe and Anju at the end of the 3-day cycle and are rewarded the couple's mask. Finally, Majora's Mask's best aspect is easily the story. The idea that the world is ending in 3 days and you must stop it to save everyone, not only the moon, but their own grieving. The world seems so hopeless and Link must trudge through this hopelessness to save everyone and lives through it as an unknown hero. Everyone around you displays some form of grief, but it's the strength to push through that you need to use to save these people. The pure emotion is what makes Majora's Mask such a great game, and maybe after thinking about this game, it can help you get relief from some sort of grief. Man, this game takes me back. Similar to Spirit Tracks, this was a game I really wanted to play when I was younger. I remember the day it released on Wii U, and it took all day for it to download. But when it did, I was super excited to play this game, and boy did I play it. I knocked this game out in probably around 2 weeks. I remember seeing reviews for this game and seeing bits and pieces, but when it was finally time for me to play it, I savored every single moment. Skyward Sword starts with Link having a dream about a great destiny. He wakes up and gets a letter from the goddess Hylia's descendant, Zelda. Similar to the Minish Cap, Link and Zelda are childhood friends in this game. Link is prepared to compete in the wing ceremony to become a knight, but before he can do that, he must save his Loftwing because it was stolen by Groose. Groose steals Link's Loftwing so he can get Zelda's attention by winning the wing ceremony. However, Link and Zelda find Link's Loftwing, and Link wins the ceremony, receiving the sailcloth from Zelda. To celebrate Link's victory, Link and Zelda fly around on their birds together. However, when they were riding, Zelda gets sucked up into a tornado created by Girahim. Link is then led to the Goddess Sword by Fi, and his adventure begins to the surface. Boy, where do I start with this game? Everything about this game is amazing. The opening cinematic shows how beautiful the game looks and the world you'll be exploring, while also setting up the narrative of the game. The music fits the atmosphere of this game so well. Every location feels like an adventure, and that there's something to find everywhere in the game. All the characters in Skyloft have some kind of story, and each of them has their own side quest, making them their own characters with life, which makes Skyloft an excellent hub world. Goose is the character that bullies Link, but after seeing the surface, he helps you face the imprisoned, aka the Demon King Demise. Goose goes from low-life bully to accepting his place and trying to be a better human being. Zelda as a character is phenomenal in this game. She has real emotions and has her own story that can be seen right from the start of the game. Her and Link also have the cutest little thing going on, which helps give Link's quest a lot of purpose. Link may have been chosen by the goddess Hylia for this quest, but he would have done this just to save his friend. All the side quests in Skyward Sword outmatch even Majoras Mask. The characters remember what you do for them, and a lot of them open up a little bit to you. Doing these side quests get you gratitude crystals, and you give these to Petro for rewards. Motion controls for a Zelda game is ingenious. Skyward Sword diversifies the swordplay given to us in Twilight Princess and makes it work in one-to-one swordplay, which makes it feel like you're the hero fighting all these bad guys. Skyward Sword has easily one of the best stories of any game. Link evolves as a character, gaining bravery to continue his quest to help Zelda. We see Link's forge the goddess sword into the Master Sword and Zelda blessing it, turning it into the true Master Sword, the blade that repels evil, setting up the entire Zelda series. At the end of the game, after the final battle with the revived Demise, he curses Link and Zelda so his spirit will forever clash with the heroes and the goddess Hylia's spirits for eternity. Demise is sealed in the Master Sword, so it is put to rest in the sealed temple. Link and Zelda then start establishing the beginning of Hyrule. Skyward Sword brings together the best aspects of all Zelda games and puts it into one incredible showcase. Just like the Master Sword rests until needed to seal the evil again, so will the memory of this game to not just me, but many others as well. Thank you guys for watching my take on the top 10 Zelda game. It is important to note that I haven't completed Link's Awakening or Tears of the Kingdom, otherwise they would likely have a spot on this list. If you enjoy this kind of content, let me know and I'll try it again. If you would like to check out some of my other content based around speedrunning, I will have a link to my Discord and my Twitch channel in the description below. Again, thank you guys for watching, take care, and I'll catch you later.